Welcome back to another Mayor's Hour. This, Jack, is going to be one of the best shows that we've ever done because this is a project that we have been waiting for a long time.
Oh, ain't it the truth? We are at Ulele.
Ulele.
I love the name, and I love the story, which I think we're going to learn more about as the show unfolds.
Oh, this is going to be great. This has been about 1.5 years in the making. Another example of taking what was an abandoned building, and with the investment by the Gonzmart family, this is going to be a destination restaurant. And right across the way is a brand new park and a new spring that we've constructed. This is going to be something that Tampa has never seen before.
And an anchor to the Great Riverwalk as well.
Yep.
The northern anchors, supposedly. And, you know, this building, interestingly enough, when I first started doing the Mayor's Hour, and that goes way, way back to Mayor Greco, but I remember seeing this building because it's right around the corner from CTTV, yep, where the people who put the show on are housed there. And I used to drive by there and say, what a great old building, what a fantastic old building, and what a shame it's gone to waste.
Not anymore.
Nope.
Not anymore.
Certainly not.
Middle of August, we're going to open up the park, and at the end of the August, Richard will open up this restaurant. It will be the equivalent of Tampa's Tavern on the Green.
Yeah. Oh, I like that, the Tavern on the Green of Tampa. That sounds pretty good. And it certainly will be that. And this is going to be a great destination, again, because of the park and everything, the upper end of the Riverwalk, and the story of Ulele too, and I'm sure somebody is going to enlighten us on it. I know a little bit of it from my wife, who's done this thing on Florida's background and cooking and everything, and Ulele is the Florida Pocahontas, except about 90 years before Pocahontas. Yep. And I guess we'll hear the whole story on that, which is very romantic.
Well, the only other person who's more excited than Jack and I about this is one of the folks that you're going to meet today, Richard Gonzmart. His family owns the Columbia Restaurants, as we all know, a destination restaurant, the oldest family-owned restaurant in the state of Florida. And Richard is going to be with us shortly to tell us the story of Ulele, to talk about the restaurant. I can't wait. I'm hungry already. Stay with us. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's good to be the mayor.
He wants you right over there. On the ground. On the ground.
Come on now. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. Wow. Jackets will fully inflate and you're ready to enter the water.
Jack, we are back. And like we talked about before, this is a project and a show that I have been waiting for a long, long time.
And a lot of people in the Bay Area have. I've come by here again and again and again at nights after dinner. We'll take a little drive, see how the Waterworks Park and Ulele's is looking.
And you know what's amazing is I'm down here a lot. I'm down here probably at least twice a week, walking the site. And you'll see people walking down here and riding their bikes down here. And inevitably when they come down here and they look around, the first thing they do is kind of stare around in amazement because they never knew any of this existed. And they see what has come out of the ground, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. They walk away and they're like, wow, this is incredible. And this is the vision of the guy that's sitting right here. Richard Gonzmart. I told you we were going to meet the guy with the vision and the passion and the resources to make this happen. We all know the Gonzmart family from the Columbia Restaurants, but Richard has embarked on a new endeavor, and I have never seen anybody, Jack, more excited, other than me, for this project to happen, and that's Richard Gonzmart. Richard, welcome to the Mayor's Hour.
Mayor, it's great to be here. I share your passion and your vision. You inspired me to move forward on this because this area was very important to me. This is where I was born, 3 blocks from here.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Jack, you got to hear this story. Richard, tell us the connection to the family and the water and the bread.
It's so eerie. Yeah. This opened in 1903 as a water source for the city of Tampa. What people don't realize is the Columbia Saloon, opened by my great-grandfather, who was the president of the Florida Brewery, opened the Columbia in 1903, December 17th. This was a source of water for the Columbia. From its time that it started until the 30s, where we cooked our beans and rice. So it was important. 4 blocks up on 7th Avenue is my grandparents' house. On 7th and Central, it's still there. It's a sorority house. My mom was
there. Sorority house. Yeah, I've been by there.
That's my grandparents' house.
The AKAs have that.
That's it.
Yes.
And I've gone in there and talked to them. And my brother, the first 5 years while my parents were traveling, lived there. And so the block before that, St. Joseph, where I was born. So this was once a thriving area. And I wanted to be part of Mayor Buckhorn's plan to re-energize and to bring back the economy and self-esteem that the people and the citizens that live here.
I mean, you know what's even more amazing, Jack, is, and Richard touched on it a little bit, there used to be a spring, a naturally occurring spring right outside this restaurant, and this was the waterworks building. And that spring used to supply the water in the 30s and 40s for a good portion of the city of Tampa. And this is where the water was processed.
Yeah.
Over the years, this building was abandoned. The spring was clogged up with all kinds of junk and debris, and the adjoining acreage was just fallow. I mean, there was nothing there. And when I came in office, you know, I would look at these old buildings like the courthouse, and I would say, we have got to do something better. And so we put out an RFP that Richard won with his vision for what this could be. It coincided with the history of his family. We dug the spring out, so the spring is now bubbling up crystal clear. The park will be completely transformed, and this magical place that we call Ulele will open up in August sometime. Tell us the story of Ulele.
You know, this place is magical. I used to ski up and down the river. I've lived on the river when I first got married 41 years ago. I've always loved it. I didn't know it existed. When I found out the name of the spring was Ulele, named after a Native American Indian princess whose father was the chief, was going to kill a young Spanish sailor named Juan Ortiz, who was 17 years old. And she stopped him and she said, no, we've got to save this young man's life. So the spring's named after her. What's kind of eerie though, her name is spelled U-L-E-L-E. And my children called my mom, who grew up 4 blocks, Lele, L-E-L-E.
Oh, wow.
It's very eerie.
Very.
And probably 3 years ago when the RFP came out, and I talked to my family and my wife, who I love, and our CFO, Dennis Fordorich, they came and said, are you crazy? What are you going to do there? But the greatest moment now in the last 6 months, they said how proud they are in the vision that you and I both had. And we're going to make this a reality.
And that's the amazing thing. Well, I love the story of Ulele. I'd heard it from my wife. She told me about it some time ago in her research and everything. And it's the Pocahontas story, except it was 90 years before Pocahontas. I guess they had better PR up there.
Well, the year was 1528. I've met with a Seminole Indian tribe, and the medicine man is going to come the day that I'm going to unveil a larger-than-life-size statue of Ulele that'll be right in front of the door, with the water flowing down, which represents life, and a fire and a perimeter 6 feet around her, which represents the spirit of Ulele.
And you're maintaining the integrity of the building and everything about it, and doing, I mean, we all know the culinary delights of the Columbia Restaurant and what you've done in so many different places around the state of Florida.
But I promised the mayor and the citizens of this city that I would preserve it. We were doing our hardest. It's the original window frames. We've maintained anything that we found, we've reused it again, whether it be some steel in the ground or even the pipes, we've used them as sculptures outside. It doesn't have the best insulation purposes, but it doesn't matter. You know, we built the mezzanine, but we didn't attach it to the side of the building. We didn't want to touch that at all.
Yeah.
So to me, our family's been here for over 110 years. It's about preserving history and reintroducing it to those that live in this great community that we call Tampa.
So tell us about the menu. Tell us about the food. What do you have in your mind? Now, this is not going to be typical Colombian restaurant food.
You won't find a 1905 salad.
Oh, no, that's my favorite.
You won't find a roast con pollo.
No yellow rice. No dancers.
I'm paying homage to the Native Americans that were here when the conquistadors came in the early 1500s. The foods they might have eaten. You know, the fish, it's all going to be local. We're working with family-owned farmers. We're working with different people that are going to supply us with products from this area. The fish would be what they might have caught. We're going to be serving oysters, not from Tampa, but I'm even looking actually to do some oyster farms, at least in some property, right off the Gulf here. But they come from the Gulf of Mexico, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas. And so we're going to also work with Jim Strickland, who's a third-generation rancher, producing high-quality beef that's shipped out to the Midwest to fatten up. But Jim wants to be part of this project. He's going to keep his best steers here. So we're going to be serving great prime and upper third choice beef.
Did I tell you he was excited? He's like a little kid.
Listen, I get so excited about it. I wake up at 1 in the morning thinking about what are we going to do? We're testing every food. We're going to make ice cream the way it used to be done by my great uncle, who was the president of Florida Tropical Ice Cream Company, served in a real coconut shell.
Oh, in a coconut shell,
a coconut shell.
Well, that's what I love. I mean, being an old history buff, I mean, I love that. And like I was telling the mayor earlier, having seen this building back, 18 years ago, 16 years ago, however long it was, and thinking, what a gorgeous building. And it fits in so well with what you've been working on. I mean, with the Meridian down here, the hotel, and things that are being preserved, and this is unbelievable, and it's going to bring this area alive down here.
Jack, we're doing things the way my great-grandfather and grandfather did. No preservatives and all locally sourced.
You got a brewery here too.
Going back to my roots, original roots. The Florida Brewery built the Columbia Saloon, and we've got a state-of-the-art brewery that we'll be proud to serve people from the area and those visiting a real taste of a craft beer, the Ulele Spring Brewery.
The Ulele Spring Brewery, and I'm thinking you're using the old spring water and things like that to give it that original individual taste.
Well, we're going to name one of the beers the Magby Honey Lager. The spring was originally named after a Justice of Peace. It was kind of a scalawag. And one day he passed out, and they covered him with honey and cornmeal, and the pigs ate his clothes off. So we got the Magby Honey Lager, so watch out. You may lose your clothes if you drink it.
Now there's an advertisement that's waiting
That picture, I don't even want to think about that picture.
They ate his clothes off. But how did it come about that you did the mayor approach you first and say, why don't you think about a restaurant down here? Where did you come up with that idea?
My friend Bill Rain, who was a developer, told me about the project, got me in touch, and we got involved, and we looked at it, and we realized the investment was necessary. This investment has tripled from what I wanted, but it's the best investment we make back in our community.
Yeah, because you've had to do a lot of renovation, although you maintained it as was. It's taken a lot down here, having gone by it a bunch of times again.
But we had to take out the concrete floors. We found tunnels underneath, brick walls. And I don't know where those tunnels went, but I've heard stories from back in Prohibition that this is where the liquor came in. So
Would not be surprised.
Because there were things going on back then, yeah.
Well, I heard stories that my grandfather lived up 4 blocks. A bartender that we had during Prohibition told me the liquor came down from this area. So part of the history, and it's the past.
Maybe there's a tunnel up to the old house.
Maybe so.
Yeah. So how, with the park right next to you, you're going to be able to program a lot of activities and
I look at that opportunities. If you want to have a function, a fundraiser, a wedding out in the park, concerts. We're planning a concert on November 22nd to benefit the Tampa Heights Junior Civic Association and helping these young people in the church and renovating that. It's just going to be full of life. I can see music all the time, arts festivals.
What a great place for an art festival or a food festival or something like that out here.
It's all in the works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it, Jack. We have Cote and Chobe, we have Curtis Sixon, and now we will have Waterworks Park anchored by the Ulele Restaurant. And so when that Riverwalk is done, and we're going to wet zone the Riverwalk too, so you'll be able to move from venue to venue with a drink in your hand, assuming you bought it at one of the...
No kidding, I didn't know that.
Well, Jack, this last Father's Day, I held the Father's Day walk to
Yes.
benefit prostate cancer. It wasn't finished, but we still had over 800 people, and we donated $80,000 toward the Advanced Prostate Cancer Collaboration right here in Tampa's Moffitt Center.
Yeah,
So that's we're going to have more of those events. People walking up and down. You'll be able to walk from here right through to Channel Side.
That is amazing.
And we're anchoring the other side of it. We're at the Columbia
well, he's already got
Museum.
Oh, yes.
I told the mayor way back then I want to be on one end and at the other end.
Well, I'm a regular on that one down there with that 1905 salad. I love that 1905 salad.
You're going to like our Three Sisters salad here as well. You're going to see items here that are unique. We're going to serve a 1 kilo porterhouse steak, which translates into 2.2 pounds.
Wow.
Oh.
Now, the most important question is, do you have an Irish concoction named after the mayor?
That's a surprise. We got it under wraps. We're not letting that be known until August 26th.
Well,
That's what I need. One more excuse to have a drink.
I have to come up with some scoundrel story
Exactly,
here to make it go right. But now, what are the projected times for opening and things that are going to be happening now in the future?
We're going to do a few fundraisers before we open, something to benefit the Shriners Children's Hospital. We're also going to do something to benefit Mary Lee's house and also the Metropolitan Ministries. And then right now the projected opening is Tuesday, August 26th, where the mayor and I will be here with our family.
Absolutely.
And we're going to cut that ribbon, and at 5 o'clock, we're ready to start serving.
And you're going to...
But there's going to be a lot of testing in between, and I'm looking for some volunteers if you're ready.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. And will the spring park and everything be ready at the same time? Will that be completed?
The city's going to be opening their park beforehand. The only thing that won't be ready is the statue of Ulele.
Yeah.
And that she'll be coming. She's here, but she's in the final stages of the design installation.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I've been pushing our folks hard to get that done because I wanted us to be done at the same time Richard opened up this restaurant, so that didn't look like a construction site. We're just about there. The landscaping is going in on the park, and it's going to be timed perfectly.
I thought I was going to be a month ahead. You're beating me by 2 weeks, so the city did a better job.
That's only because they know the mayor's out here watching them.
Keeping an eye on it.
All right, now you know why we're so excited. This is going to be open soon. Stay tuned. Come on down. You're going to see an amazing transformation of a riverfront, what was a relic, but will now become a destination. We can't wait. Richard, thanks for believing in Tampa, as always.
Thanks for believing in us. And
Absolutely.
We'd like for you to have an official Ulele baseball cap and T-shirt.
Oh, man.
Here you go, Jack.
Oh, this is
Thank you, Richard.
great.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll wear this proudly.
Look at this. Look at this.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Jack. I'm twitchy just hanging around Richard Gonzmart. I mean, he is so excited about this project, and he gets everyone else excited.
Well, what a big thing it is for him, too, to be able to do this now. I mean, you've done it all with the Columbia, and all of a sudden now, something like this.
It's such a labor of love for him, and you can see that when you listen to him and spend some time with him. And this isn't just a normal restaurant for him. This is his gift back to Tampa.
And I had no idea about the history of his family related to this area until we talked to him about it.
It's pretty exciting stuff.
Oh, it is.
But now we meet the guy who gets to make the trains run on time and put up with Richard and his enthusiasm and everything that we love about Richard. Keith Sedita, who's the managing partner here at Ulele. Tell us a little bit about your background. You've been in the business for a long time.
Been in the business for a few years. Been in the business for just under 30 years.
Wow.
And all in Florida. Started in Sarasota, down in Naples, and Fort Myers, and Bradenton, and here I am in Tampa. Been here about 7 years now.
Running restaurants?
Yes.
How did you get into the restaurant business in the first place?
I started bussing tables when I was 15. Little
you
Italian
grew into
restaurant, and and I wanted to go to culinary school, and I never did. I just didn't stop working in restaurants, and as time went on, I started running them. I got into some great relationships with great people. I've been very fortunate to work with some great pioneers in the industry, and
came out of
here
the
I am
Outback
now.
system, didn't
I was
you?
with OSI for 13 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Another Tampa-based, Tampa-founded firm.
Yeah, so I worked with a few other people after that. And then Richard and I, we had known each other through doing a lot of special events and things like that throughout Tampa over the years. And a couple years ago, I put out a message on LinkedIn to all my friends to endorse me. And Richard was one of them. And he called me the next day and said he needs to show me this old pump house on the river.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, here we are.
Here we are.
So
Very
you've
exciting.
been involved in this then for a couple of years, so you're
Yes.
well aware of everything about it.
I know every square inch of the building. Yeah.
He's out here every time I come out here, so it's
Spending a lot of time out here.
so it's been different. I mean, opening an Outback restaurant is pretty cut and dry. There's a method in the madness to it.
There's a map.
Yeah.
There's not a road map here. Well, there is. It's windy though. We have a map here that's you have to kind of go with the changes. When you start with a building that's over 100 years old, you run into some things that you didn't expect sometimes, and that's fun. It really is. So, and then with Richard's, like you said, his enthusiasm and his love for art and everything we're doing here, just putting this menu together to tell a story with Tampa's history, it's been a great experience. It really has.
And in this case, you're playing the role of pretty much Sullivan and Basham and Gannon in that you're developing the whole concept.
That's a nice compliment. I've been involved with all aspects of it. Yes, sir.
And who knows, maybe someday there will be 800 Uleles around the globe or something
Never
like
know.
that.
You never know.
I
Yeah,
doubt that. You're not going to be able to recreate
Yeah,
this. That's the one thing about history. It can't be recreated. You can make it look that
Not
way.
this restaurant. No.
Disney might try or somebody like that, but
So how do you develop the menu?
First, you start by hiring a great chef. When we started talking about this and we came up with the term native inspired, and you think about the word native, it's really native to this land, native to this area. So if you think about the Hillsborough River's influenced this menu so much. It's been flowing for 27,000 years, and all the different species of fish, if you think about over those years. blue crab, oysters, these different items that tie into that river. It really was a no-brainer. We thought about how can we incorporate those into the menu. But really, to answer your question, as we look at each menu item that we put on there, we need to make sure, we told ourselves at least one component of that menu item is going to help tell that story. So it's going to tie to the story somehow, whether it be Tampa's history of some of the pioneers, some of the people that have lived in Tampa Heights, and that's kind of guided us to find those ingredients. And it just so happens to be going in the direction of Adam Putnam with the Fresh from Florida program that he's put together. It just kind of evolved into that direction. So we test things. We eat a lot of food. We test things every day, from homemade ice cream to oyster shooters, to steaks, to everything. We went out to Mayaca Ranch to visit with Mr. Strickland, and Jim Strickland has a wonderful ranch, and we're doing a Fresh from Florida beef program. And so it's just you have to go there and see it, and and really make sure it's what you want. And that's what we've done. We've traveled a lot to find the ingredients that we think are going to be fitting for Ulele.
And with the history involved here and the kind of food and everything, it's going to be the kind of thing that we'll now have really 3 places when people come to town. They always have to go to Burns. I mean, if you can afford it, you want to go to Burns. You got to go to the Columbia because of the rich history of the Columbia restaurant and what it relates to our history. And now this is certainly going to relate. I mean, people are going to learn, boy, if you want to really get a taste of Tampa Bay's past, and I mean its distant past, this is it. I mean, the Columbia pretty much relates to the recent past. This is going to be the thing, and it's going to be a big destination for tourists, I would think. It's going to be huge.
We agree. I mean, look where we're standing. We're on this mezzanine, and you look out the window and you see the Hillsborough River from here. You look to the south, you see the Waterworks Park. If you're here at the right time, you'll see the sunset. We're facing the west. I mean, this property has so much to offer. So I hope you're right. We hope everyone will come out and enjoy it as much as we think they will.
Jack, when we opened up that pond, the second day there was a mother manatee and her calf in the pond, because the pond opens up to the Hillsborough River.
Wow, that's going to be something. If you can get manatees in there.
Yeah. Keith, we got about a minute left in this segment. Tell us about this room here. What is this going to be?
Well, this is our mezzanine. We have we could seat about 40 people on each side. Again, I talked about the beautiful view out to the river and the park. On the north side of it, you can walk right out to our rooftop patio overlooking our beer garden. And then I think that people would enjoy coming up here with larger parties and renting either side, and maybe we can have a cocktail reception on the rooftop patio, and then come in for dinner up here. But it just showcases the restaurant. It's not a bad seat in the house.
How many will you seat all together in here for, say, dinner if you had a full house?
With the mezzanine, 230 seats we have. And then we have plenty of seating outside, obviously, to take advantage of the water side. So it's
This is going to be amazing. I mean, I can't say enough about the job that Keith and Richard have done to get this place ready. I mean, people are going to be blown away.
I know, and I'm going to have to,
no pressure.
I'm going to be calling and say, hey, I know the managing partner.
That's right.
Can you get me in?
Can you get me a table? Because I think the line is going to be long.
It is.
And people are going to want to come down here and experience this. I mean, one of the knocks on Tampa for years for decades, is that we didn't have enough waterfront dining.
Yep.
We were a waterfront city, but we had very few places to go. And this is really going to open up this north end of the Hillsborough River for not only an amazing culinary experience, but you're going to be able to sit right out here and enjoy the Hillsborough River.
I agree.
You can come by boat.
I thoroughly agree.
Yeah. All right, we'll be right back, Keith. Thanks.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Make sure you save Jack and I a table on that opening week. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're going to meet the executive chef. Jack, you know what's next.
Oh, yes.
Jack and I do a lot of shows involving food or beer or whatever, and I think we're about to embark on what is our favorite part, other than talking to Richard, and that is being around the food. That looks good. I don't know what it is, but it looks great.
That is fantastic.
So we're with Eric Lackey, who's the executive chef here at Ulele. Tell us a little bit about how you got here. What's your role?
Well, I'm the executive chef. Started in Pinellas County most of my career. Trained under Tom Pritchard for many years.
Oh, yeah.
Was in a lot of the restaurants with him, from the Aero Squadron to the Grill at Feather Sound.
Oh, the old Aero
And
Squadron. I
we
love
moved
that
on through
place.
the years with him. Then I joined with the Pappas family, and I opened the concept of Flamestone American Grill and Basic Grill. Then I was fortunate to come across the position here with the team for Ulele, and just a great concept and a great family, and was really where I wanted to be in my life, with people who are doing the right thing for the community and for just everyone.
You have got a rich culinary history in the Bay Area with the Pappas family and with Tom Pritchard, and of course going back to the Aero Squadron and all of those things. They were great. We even had a station party there one year. Our Christmas party was over there right before they went under, unfortunately. But
I was there then.
now that is something. Well, this, I've never seen anything like that. First of all, I've never seen steaks like that. But is this a typical setup here for a restaurant? I mean, are they usually that big?
Not really. You know, we really wanted this kitchen to be a showpiece, be part of the dining room. We wanted to bring the experience of what we go through every day to our guests. There's a lot of kitchens that are open kitchens, but we'd like to say this is a very much an open kitchen. We're going to prepare all of our fresh from Florida beef here. Our oysters are going to be grilled here. We're going to have a seafood grill, our saute station, plus our great raw bar behind us. We just want to bring that experience to the guests. Everybody's a foodie nowadays, so we want to let them be part of the action. And this is a custom designed grill. We call this our barbacoa. This is kind of our twist on the Native American barbacoa, which was a fire grill where they had a large grill area with a grill on top, and that's how they cook most of their products on that. And then, of course, with their different versions of making stews and fisherman stew and things. So we wanted to impart this into this kitchen. So this is our version of that.
So you've been obviously involved in the preparation of the menu and all the spices and ingredients.
Yes.
I mean, how has that been for you? You must be like a kid in a candy store.
It's a chef's dream, you know. Really, the project itself just naturally develops quality products. One of the things we really take a lot of pride in, we're a very large restaurant. The only freezer we have is for ice cream. So everything we do here is fresh. Fresh seafood, our fresh from Florida steaks through Strickland Ranch. We have a rancher we've developed a program with, so we have all of our beef is fresh from Florida, homemade ice creams, just really quality, fresh products. We'll have 4 different stations. So we'll have 4 cooks, one in each station doing certain proteins. One gentleman working with beef, one working with our seafood, one just specifically on oysters, and then that is a saute area down there. They'll have some different unique fish and different items coming out of there.
So like for example, Kelly Fletcher over there he's the sous chef, right?
Yes.
And so do all of the cooks have a particular expertise or do you guys are skilled in all of it and you just rotate depending on what night of the week it is?
We have pretty much skilled in everything, but you're always going to have those people who shine more on one specific thing, kind of to what their background has been. But we've really tried to make sure that the people we hired were quality people that we hired that could do anything. They all can shuck oysters, they all can cook a steak, they can all cook fish, work a back kitchen, prep, anything like that. So.
You and I wouldn't stand a chance.
No way, shape, or form. Believe me. I mean, we're dangerous to have aprons on, much less to get around
an insult to the
like
culinary profession.
And by the way, he's a winner of culinary competitions too, in the Steve Otto Chili Cook-Off and in the mac and cheese
throwdown.
Mac and cheese throwdown.
These guys were the champs. It was the inaugural one. They got to. They kicked a little backside.
The taster's choice, I think it was.
We did the People's Choice both times. Worked out great for us. You know, it's what we like to say is we got a great concept, quality product. We cook with love. We serve with passion and pride. So if you do those things, you're always going to come on top.
Well, let's do some cooking.
Yep.
Jack, you ready?
Eric, I think I'm always
We're going to start
ready.
off. Of course, you see our steaks, and then we're also going to do some of our grilled oysters with garlic, butter, Parmesan and Romano, and a little bit of fresh parsley on top. So you guys are going to have a good
You ever
lunch
had
today.
those?
No.
They are. They're like right out in New Orleans. There's a place called Drago's, which is famous for its barbecued oysters.
Yeah.
You can sit there and eat 4 dozen of these and not even blink.
Yeah, because you know, Columbia used to have an oyster bar down in Sarasota at the Columbia Restaurant there, a little small oyster bar, and that was incredible. I used to sit down there and eat them off the half shell.
Because these things, they will cook in the juices, and they will come out, and I mean, I'm telling you, Jack, they will just melt in your mouth. You will get addicted to them. I started doing them on the grill until I almost amputated my thumb trying to shuck them.
Yeah, you have to be careful when you shuck it. We got some good experienced people. Now, when we start going on this, you're going to see it's going to flame up. We're going to get a lot of cheese in there, and it's swimming in butter. So it's definitely very healthy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
Nothing
that.
about my life that's healthier.
And these are going to take just a few moments to get going. And then you'll see they'll start to all of a sudden they'll be kind of whole once the shell warms up a little bit. And you can see we're using a great Louisiana oyster today. All of our oysters are Gulf oysters. Everything we tie into our program that we're doing is Florida native. We source from in and then outwards. Everything we do, if there's some times of years that we're not able to pull products from Florida, it's an American product. We don't bring anything else from the outside. Yeah. So that way, that's part of who we are and what our mission is, but mostly tying in with the Tampa. And when you think about what came out of the river, what came out of the Gulf, what was on our land, and when we say that native inspired, we're very fortunate in Florida to have everything. Have oysters and blue crab and grouper and snapper and you name it. So we have a variety of things we can put out on the table that inspire from within. So now as these oysters start to warm up, the shells start to warm up, what we're going to do here is we're going to take this garlic butter, and you're going to see we're not shy with it. Now this is going to get hot, it's going to flame up. We want to get that char in there. And as you can tell, again, we're not shy with the garlic butter. You got to get it on there. Got to get that flame on there.
Holy guacamole. I don't think I've ever seen that at an oyster bar.
You wait till you taste it. I am addicted to these things.
And be careful, they will pop, they will snap. Just part of the hazards of what we do. So again, being in long sleeves helps.
Not being in a suit helps.
That as well, and again, you can already see now they're starting to get that nice char on there. We'll move this over here. I say you're welcome to reach in there, but it is hot.
No, you're on your own, Eric.
I don't think so.
Yep.
And again, you can see we're not shy. We get the butter. You got to have that butter. That garlic butter is the key to these great oysters. And you watch that fire, and then, speaking of one of the things like we have here, some of the things we do, like this is what they call the marble system, this hood system we have designed in. It has laser eyes that point at various parts of the grill. And then at any time, it detects what the heat level is. And if the heat is down, the hood will slow down. And if the heat is up, the hood will turn on a little bit hotter. It'll turn the hood up. So by doing that, we're able to save energy in times when we're not cooking as much. That's one of the things we do, along with the conservation of trying to save water with our dish area that we have, designed with a special salvager system, so it uses 30% less fresh water per minute. So we're saving gallons of water all day long, and just tying in a little bit of everything we've done through the whole concept of the building to just be as conscious as possible.
Very green conscious. It's
as conscious as possible.
A green building, so to speak.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these oysters and we're going to coat them with some cheese.
Good. That's looking good.
That's the money right there. So we're going to go ahead and get these coated down, and then we'll put some more butter on it.
Oh my Lord.
Got to have some more butter on there. That's what's
I'm telling you, Jack.
This is not.
It doesn't get much better than these oysters.
So today we're going to give you some of these oysters to eat, and we're also going to have some nice lunch for you. We got those beautiful steaks over there, some grilled asparagus, and then we got one of our items that we've been working on is our white cheddar popcorn mash that we're gonna put out there as well. You want to get that char. You want to give it that little extra bit of that burn around the edges and bring that flavor out of that oyster shell as well. And again, like I said, you can't go wrong with getting a little extra butter on there.
Butter.
A little more butter,
I got my cholesterol pills. You got yours?
Yeah. I saw you guys didn't look like you had a good sweat going, so we're going to go ahead and do this.
I'll need a cholesterol pill that big.
We won't tell our
a
wives.
cholesterol pill the size of that steak.
Yeah. We will not tell our wives.
No way.
Then what we got a couple plates here for you. We're going to have you guys dig in, and we're also going to put a couple steaks up there for you. And I will say that when you go to grab this, I'm going to give you a pair of tongs, because as these things come off, oh, there you go. Now we got these oysters coming off.
On that thing.
And you see those edges. Now you can hear it. You start to hear that shell crackle.
Boy, it's popping like crazy.
Yeah, these are definitely the way to go.
How long is it going to be before you can actually eat them? I mean, from the heat there.
Well, we're gonna put them on your plate, and then you're gonna be able to get them out of there and eat them fairly quick. But they will stay hot for a long time. And, like I said, we're giving Dragos a run for their money.
Yeah, man.
I even like when you even get that little flame right there on the shell. You
That's
can't
the way
go
I like
wrong.
my toast.
A little burnt?
Yeah, go to Patch's place, so they do it for me. One of the few
They don't have
places.
this at Patch's.
You know,
Well, they don't
just
have
in
that.
case you weren't sure, we're gonna get a
Oh, my
little more butter on the top. You can hear it just sizzling in those shells.
Let me guess that you're not going to have a big menu on the wall with the caloric value of each of the items.
Well, we've grilled all the calories out at this point.
Oh, yeah.
We just put a little bit on top.
This one's got to be about 5,000 calories per oyster.
Yes, sir. Then we got it right here, so please be careful. And we got some plates there for you, and we'd love for you to try them.
Jack, I want to see your face when you try these. I mean, they are.
Well,
that good.
I've got to wait until it stops sizzling.
Until
That
it
might
stops-
be the next
until it
mayor's
stops.
hour. Oh, that's more than enough
We're
for
gonna put
me.
a couple on there for you, sir. And then we got some forks right here for you.
Oh, thank you.
A couple of our towels there for you if you need.
This is going to be a while before we can eat.
And we're gonna make
these
sure
things
everybody
up.
gets a chance to try some oysters today.
Oh, I thought those were Jack and I.
Well, those are. We have plenty more to grill. And then we're gonna have some steaks that Kelly's gonna put up here right now too. So you can eat them raw, but they don't taste like that.
Isn't that unbelievable?
I'm getting something crunchy. I don't know what that is. Wow.
And that fresh parsley on top gives it that little.
Boy, that is.
These are better than Drago's.
Thank you.
For those of you that have never had barbecue oysters, they are unbelievable.
This has got so much great cheese. What kind of cheese was that?
That is a Parmesan and Romano.
From Tampa.
You know, again, behind that native influence of, you know, with the Europeans coming into Tampa, and we just really wanted to tie a little bit of everybody in, and that's our inspiration behind who we are.
Eric, it's delicious.
Mayor, I'm glad to see you got a couple more on there.
You're better
You
at
better
doing
not
this
get
than I
between
am.
me and that oyster plate.
I'm not going to go past here.
You're so much better at doing these than I am at eating these things.
I'm telling you, I have sat at the bar at Drago's and had 3 or 4 dozen of these. You know, I'll just tell them to keep bringing them. And I'm going to be sitting right there with a nice cold beer or a glass of wine, and I'm going to sit there and eat until I die from barbecue oysters.
And maybe even a couple of our signature oyster shooters even.
Whatever it takes, Eric.
I think you might be wrapping up the show doing that here. 4 of those babies out here. Unbelievable. We got more coming. You better save some room.
Oh, you
here
don't have to
for-
worry about me.
Yeah, they got asparagus.
That is
and
really
mashed
good.
Potatoes and
My kids love these things. My wife loves these things.
And Chef Kelly's going to bring some steak over to you right now. And again, this is our fresh from Florida. It's from Strickland Ranch out of Mayaca.
oh, look at that. Nice presentation.
Oh,
too.
Kelly.
We got a nice Sir, I know you were looking at that. You were eyeing that filet.
That's now you're barking up my boulevard here with
I'm
that
gonna pass you
food
a
right
couple,
there.
cut past you a couple steak knives.
Now this, I'll tell you, you go and eat all of those, and I'll eat all of these. Oh, look at that! Look
And then
at
what
that.
our porterhouse is it's a steak for 2. This is the kilo porterhouse, so it's 2.2 pound. We pull it off the bone, we slice it, and it's for 2 guests.
Good Lord. Now, someone else is going to help us eat this stuff, right?
Oh, these are for you.
Oh,
We have enough for everybody else.
You've got to eat every bite. I can't wait to try this. This is, and again, it's so neat. You know, most people aren't aware that Florida is the premier beef state in this country. People think, you know, Texas or Oklahoma, places like that. You got more beef coming out of here than
so
anywhere.
many years the beef is being raised here, and then it's shipped out west to the Midwest to be grain fed.
Nice fat.
Because it's perfect. It's cheaper to send the cows to the grain than to bring the grain to the cows.
Yeah.
This gentleman we're working with, all natural, antibiotic, hormone free, great facility, great land that he feeds on, and he really takes a lot of pride. He says, "These are my children. I treat them, everyone, the best I can." And he finishes them in Chiefland, the feed up in North Florida, so they get a little bit of that cooler weather. It is very hot here. And then they come through us, and then this steak actually here has a 24-day dry age on it on the porterhouse, and our fillets are a 28-day wet age.
Well, the people aren't aware again of the cattle industry in Florida historically. While out west they had their cowboys, in Florida they had their cowmen. They called them cowmen. None of that cowboy stuff, but cowmen were a rich part of the Florida history too. And again, I learned all this. My wife has written a book on history of Florida food. That's where a lot of the things you mentioned sound familiar to me.
The gentleman we partner with, he's the president of the Cattlemen Association for the state of Florida, as well as our oysters all come through a gentleman in Melbourne, Salty Sea, where they have their boats in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast. So we're keeping true to the Gulf Coast, to our area.
Now the question is, who's going to be able to finish this segment, because we all have food in our mouths. Look at the guys on the camera, they're always thinking, we'll take what you don't eat.
We thought of them today.
Well, I hope so.
I see.
Eric, we got about a minute left. Tampa's become a foodie destination. Between great chefs like yourself, great food, great craft beer, the food trucks. I mean, we've become a hip, cool place. I mean, what's in the water? Just talent, attracting talent?
Just bringing talent here, and I think we had a lot of talent here originally, and a lot of our talent was leaving, and now they want to stay in Tampa Bay. They want to be in this area. We offer everything here. We have the beaches, we have the sports, we have the nightlife, we have restaurants. The craft breweries really coming big into Tampa, so I think people want to be here or they want to stay here.
Mm-hmm. So you're seeing a lot of your peers venturing out, setting up their own restaurants?
Yes.
I mean, Greg and Michelle and Ty.
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty exciting what's going on.
It is very exciting.
All right. He and I have to finish eating. I don't know about the rest of you all out there. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Jack and I have to finish our meals because we're hungry. And Jack, I just be ready in August for this. This is going to be amazing. Eric, thanks. Appreciate it. Jack, this is almost like Cheers. Just three guys hanging around, having a beer. It is good to be the mayor, I got to tell you. I've been eating steak and oysters. We're going to get to sample.
It's good to hang around with the mayor. I still don't have to do all the stuff you do. I don't have to do the rubber chickens. I can just do this.
This place brings back a lot of memories for me because this used to be the Tampa television studio. That as part of the deal with Richard, we gave him the ability to use, which he did. But I've participated in many a candidate debate down here in this very studio. Did well in some, not so well in some of the others, but fortunately the last one I did okay.
But you're here.
I am here. So we are in the brewery of the Ulele Restaurant, and we are with Tim Shackton, who, are you the brewmaster? Is that the official title?
That's what they call me, yes indeed. It's a labor of love.
How do you get to be a brewmaster?
He would like to be the brewmaster.
Just out of curiosity,
Well, everybody's story is a little different, but with mine, I was coming out of the Marine Corps off of Desert Storm. I got home to Clearwater. I walked into Hops Grill and Bar, and they have a 7-barrel brew house there. And it was almost like the angels came on high, and I said, this is what I want to be. This is what I want to do. And I was fortunate enough to be hired on as an apprentice. I apprenticed under a gentleman named John Schwartzen. He had spent many decades with Anheuser-Busch in St. Louis, and he had come on board to the hops team. So I learned so much from that gentleman about the beer industry. And I spent many years with hops, going throughout the state of Florida, designing breweries, building brew pubs, training brewers, and it just seems like it all kind of happened to end right here. And this is the final spot. I'm so happy to be here.
So what is all this equipment behind us?
What you see behind you, Mr. Mayor, is a 15-barrel brew house produced with the finest American components. This is a system produced by a company called JV Northwest. They're located in Portland. And basically, in layman's terms, every time we brew a single batch of beer, it's about 30 kegs of beer. And it's all American steel. Virgin steel, hand welded, pressurized vessels. This is excellent equipment. You can't get this kind of equipment anywhere else in the world. And my beloved boss spared no expense. This is a beautiful facility, and it's a privilege to brew here.
Well, Jack's had a beer or two in his life. This will be my first.
Yes.
So how do you make beer? I mean,
It's a very simple process. They've been doing it since the beginning of time. I've got a quick 2-minute tour I like to give everybody, but it starts out with cracked barley malt. In the kettle that's right behind you here, this is called a mash tun, and we mix cracked barley malt with hot water. And the liquid extract from that mash is the raw beer. That's called wort. And we'll boil the beer in another kettle and add hops for bitterness and for aroma. And then what we'll do is we will pump it into one of the vessels behind me right over here. These are fermentation vessels. And introduce yeast into the beer. The beer will ferment. Certain types of yeast can take less than a week to ferment. Other strains, like lagers, can take longer.
so the yeast gives it the flavor, or is it the hops?
Yeast, actually, it's a collection of different ingredients. Yeast is a very big component of the flavor profile of beer, as well as hops. The malted barley can be roasted in a kiln. So I know that your favorite beer style is a stout.
Yeah.
The stout beer is comprised. The mash is comprised of a lot of dark roasted malts. So it's kind of the elements, all those elements coming together. And the beauty about being a brewmaster is you're not really making the beer. You're creating the environment to allow the beer to make itself. And that's the whole joy of it. You get to see it start from its infancy, and every batch is a new experience.
We've really become the craft beer capital, I think, of the South. I know Asheville lays claim to that. But between you and what Joey Redner is doing and all the microbreweries
around here, yeah.
I mean, you guys are producing some really great product that is becoming nationally known, nationally famous.
Award-winning, yeah.
So
I mean, what is it?
The craft brewery scene in Tampa has just exploded. I think in my opinion, it's a resurgence. I think with the creation of hops, back in the .com boom, there was a lot of expansion coming right out of this area in the beer business nationwide. But as time went on, so went the beer industry away from this area. Who knows what happened? I think it's the spark of motivation, and a gentleman like Wayne Wambles over at Cigar City. Those guys who have a unique set of skills to be able to produce something bold and something expressive, something new.
You know what's so cool though, and what I like about this industry is, as opposed, I'm sure there's some competition involved, but they tend to share with each other. They mentor each other. They train each other, and it really has created a whole breed of brewers here that have all come from sort of the same the roots.
It's like a fraternity.
Yep, it is.
We are. As a matter of fact, we just, I created my first batch of beer just a few short days ago, and I found myself wanting in a specific ingredient. I made a phone call to the Tampa Bay Brewing Company up the road, and I ran up the road and grabbed what I needed, and he said, "Here you go."
That's great.
We are a community.
Well, don't ever get too self-serving or too big for your britches, because I think that's what makes this area so nice, is that you guys all work together.
Thank you. And I'm very humbled to be a part of the project. I love this facility. I can't wait to open our beer garden to see what people like about our beer and how it works well. The privilege of working with Chef Eric to be able to take all his ideas and fuse them together with craft beer simultaneously. It's been such an incredible experience so far.
Well, I'm speaking for Jack, and I know that he can't wait to take a sip of...
Well, I'm wondering why it's sitting here, but I'm going to drink it.
So tell us what we're drinking.
This is Rusty's Red.
Rusty's the name of the dog that...
Yes, this is Richard's German Shepherd is named Rusty, and he's very passionate about what he does with the Humane Society and dogs in general.
Yeah.
And this is an American Amber Ale finished with domestic hops.
Slunch.
That is good.
Cheers.
Whoa.
Froze it.
Yep. Good job.
Cheers to...
All right.
Boy,
And I spilled some right down the front
I'm done
of
for
my
the day. I'm going to go home. Take a nap.
Hey, you have
That's
somebody
good.
driving
Thanks.
with you.
Yeah, that's good.
It's unfiltered, it's unpasteurized. There's no additives, there's no preservatives, there's no finings, there's nothing in there except malt, hops, yeast, water. That's the natural core of beer.
So how long, I mean, what, to use the layman's term, what's the shelf life of a product like this?
It depends on the style of beer. Some beers can last as little as a month to a month and a half. Others, like barley wines, can last for a very long time, as much as a year or two. The quality control is critical. Cleanliness in the brew house is very important, but it's also the fact that the beers doesn't travel. It's not packaged. It's brewed right here. I pump it from the fermenter into my beer cooler. It goes through one very large keg right to the tap. So it's not going into a bottle. It's not being, none of that extra packaging stuff is going in. And it doesn't have to bounce in a truck and all those other factors. It's fresh. It's as pure and clean as the wind-driven snow. That's the way I like to drink my beer.
So that Budweiser that's been in my fridge for about 6 years, I should throw it away?
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
It's still okay in the bottle.
I'll give it to you. I'm not a big beer drinker. But for craft beer, I mean, craft beer is so much different than that Pabst Blue Ribbon that you drink.
Brought about so many new beer drinkers. People
It
are
really
into
has,
that thing.
It's a whole new market.
You have a great market of craft beer enthusiasts in Tampa, as well as just general beer drinkers. This is one of the largest markets, the Tampa Bay region, for beer consumption. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we have such an explosion of growth. At Ulele, what we can do is we can create bold, expressive beers. We can create what's called session beers, like light lager style beers. Whatever
Seasonal
the guest
beers.
Exactly, whatever the guest wants. It really comes down to when you walk up to a table, hey folks, how are you? Are you enjoying your beer? What do you want? That feedback is when I walk up out of this room, go through those double doors, and we've got 100 people out there. That's when you'll find out.
All right, make your reservations at Ulele. Great food, great environment, and great beer. Good job.
Thank you, John.
Again.
All right.
Yes.
That's good. That is really good. Well, Jack, we're going to wrap up another show
excuse me,
of drinking with Jack and Bob and eating. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to be the mayor, because we get to do shows like this where you and I get to indulge in two of our favorite things, which is carrying on, eating great food, and having an occasional adult beverage.
That's three great things, but it's
Three,
even better
okay,
for
yeah.
me because I
Yeah,
don't have the
I'm getting like-
responsibilities of running the city, and I get to do it too.
I'm like Rick Perry. It says 1, 2, and whatever that third thing was that he forgot.
No, this place is going to be incredible, and the whole thing works together so well. All of the apartments going in here, all the young people that are moving into the downtown area, this is going to be just an awesome experience. And like that steak we had, that was, I'm a steak lover, that was the tastiest beef I've had. And
Florida based, Florida raised.
yeah, that's the neat thing about this, the history surrounding this. I mean, again, my wife's been heavily into that kind of thing now with that book of hers, but I'm just discovering it through her, and then to come into a place like this where it kind of comes together. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. So late August, the park will be open, the restaurant will be open. Folks just need to get ready to come down and experience an amazing thing.
And we're going to try to work on getting a walk of fame up here at out behind the Straz of famous people known all over the country who are from here. Something like I've seen in St. Louis. I've been working with the Riverwalk people on that, and I think that will come about sometime. Another little added dimension to the Riverwalk. But I want to bring up a couple of things before we run out of time here. First of all, the budget. You ended up. How did you get a surplus with all the stuff going on around here?
It took about 4 months worth of work. We started out with a deficit, and we just kept whacking away at it. And we found efficiencies. We did some consolidations. And there were some revenues that we hadn't anticipated on both of our pensions. The valuations of the real estate increased a little bit, and so slowly but surely, we were able to get that deficit down. We balanced the budget. We didn't lay anybody off. And once again, we didn't raise any taxes.
That's
And
amazing to be able to do that with.
well, it's better times are coming. It's been 5 very difficult years. I mean, if you can imagine, in 2007, we had 700 more employees than we have now, the city of Tampa. We generated about $166 million a year in property tax. In 2012, that was down to $119 million. So you think about that drastic reduction in revenue, but yet we're still doing the same job with less people and doing it as well as it's ever been done. And so I'm pretty proud of the people that work for the city that get up every day and do an amazing job with less resources. So not only did we balance the budget, but we were able to take $1.3 million and put it into reserves. So all in all, it was a good year, and I think we're coming out of the wreckage of this recession.
Yeah, I was going to say, of course, when you go out as mayor, when you finish your 2 terms as mayor, you're going to want to get back down to 0 again. You don't want to leave a surplus.
Well, yeah. I mean, next mayor may spend it into oblivion.
That's it.
I've seen that happen.
You don't want to do that.
Fortunately, Mayor Iorio left me with a very healthy balance, and so I am always thankful for her for being a good steward, because we would have had great difficulty getting through that recession and having to tap the reserves for a little bit the first 2 years, because the alternative was, stop doing what we do, start laying off more people, but I didn't have to do that. And so we're going to keep this government small, we're going to keep it lean, we're going to be as productive, but yet with the economy changing, we're going to have a lot more good things that we'll be able to do.
One other big thing that's happened since the last time we got together, they finally resolved the channel side dispute, and our guy Jeff Vinnick has ended up with it, and he's looking at really exciting plans for that. I've been to LA Live. He's talking about something like a Tampa Live. And the LA Live area out there, and that was once kind of a wasteland. I remember before doing games at the Staples Center and having to be way down the road and walking through what was not much, a couple of Starbucks here and there, and that was it. And of course now that's grown into almost a small metropolis in itself.
Well, it fixes that last piece of the puzzle. Getting that under Jeff Finnick's control allows him to master plan the 20 acres that he owns plus channel side with the forum at the center, and create an entertainment district that will run from channel side all the way down to the convention center, focused on the waterfront, with the forum in the middle, and commercial, retail, residential, and hotels scattered throughout those 20 acres. The city will be a participant financially in terms of some of the infrastructure costs, but it's a good investment for us to make, because it's going to generate a lot more revenue for the city in terms of real estate property taxes. So it's been a good month. We got a lot of good things going on.
And I can only imagine what it's going to be like to have that when you make a pitch to get the next Republican National Convention or the next Bollywood or whatever it is you're trying to get, and say, look what we also offer here around the convention center. And
well, I can tell you this, Jack. The next 10 years is going to be critical for us as a city, but I think in no uncertain terms this will be a radically different place when we get done.
It already is. It's changed pretty dramatically.
Well, there's more coming. Stay with us. You're going to learn about it every month when Jack and I do the Mayor's Hour. Ulele Restaurant, on the water, Tampa Heights. We'll see you in August.